In today's workout, I'm doing some hanging, mobility, and handstands. This isn't a tutorial. This is one of my 2 daily workouts that I do here at my home gym every day, working towards my movement goals of one arm pull-up and a handstand push-up, and increasing my flexibility and just general movement capabilities. So I'm just getting started with my hanging. I'm on my 2nd set. I've already done a set of passive hanging, and now I'm doing these single arm hang transitions. This is an intermediate hanging progression. It's probably a little bit too challenging for beginners, but you know, if you've got a little bit of experience doing some hanging, this is a really good one. It's great for grip strength. It's very, very challenging on the grip, and it's also really, really good for shoulder health and spine health as well. What I'm trying to do is to hang passively like this without any movement. So my goal is that when I transition from side to side, that I'm not swinging now and that I'm just hanging passively. And the hardest part for me is the pressure on the old calluses. That's what I really feel. Oh, and I'm already feeling it. Woo! All right, so for my mobility work today, I'm starting with external hip rotation, and I'm doing an end range contraction here. So I'm trying to keep my knees still, keep my body as still as possible so the bench is there as a reference point, and I lift into a strong external rotation. So strengthening the external rotators at their end range. And I'll go again for 10 seconds. And if you're not working right at your end range with end range strength like that, it just doesn't work. So that's why there's not a lot of movement happening, because I'm right at my end range. Okay, and now I'm doing a loaded stretch. I have to be careful with these external rotation and internal rotation because I've had a meniscus tear on my right knee. So any lateral pressure on the knee can really cause me a lot of pain. So that's why I do this incline pigeon, because by putting the bench on a little bit of an incline, it really deloads the knee and it allows you to get, you know, to a level of external rotation that is within my capabilities, instead of, you know, going to a point that's beyond what I can control, which ends up putting that lateral pressure on the knee. All right, so see if you can see my foot move here. Oh God, it's tough. This is why I love these incline benches, because I can get the exact angle I need to be able to be right at my end range. Oh, right. And when you do a end range contraction like that, what happens is there's a lot of things that go on, but besides making you stronger in your end range, which increases flexibility, doing an end range contraction like that actually inhibits some of the sensory neurons that restrict flexibility. So then when you go into a loaded stretch like this, straight after it, the nervous system struggles to tighten up the internal rotators, so the muscles that we're trying to stretch. It struggles trying to keep them tight and restrict your flexibility. So it has a really good effect when you superset an end range contraction with loaded stretching like that. Really good. I'm gonna do a 2nd set of these single arm hangs because I didn't get very long from that 1st set, and I really want to try and get around 2.5 to 3 minutes of accumulated hanging with this exercise in one workout, and I only got 1:20 on that 1st set. So I'll try and get at least another minute on this second set, which will give me 2 minutes 20 accumulated time. So I'm really trying to just go to a passive hang here with little to no movement once I'm actually hanging. So just straight down and then hanging here. Having a good single arm hang and being able to transition like this is a good prerequisite to a one arm pull up, because obviously with a one arm pull up, you need to be able to pull yourself with one arm, and that starts with scapular depression. Okay, this is the hardest hang for the whole workout, the single arm active to passive transitions. I'm really trying to force some progress there, so to break through plateaus and get up to that consistent 5 reps every workout. So I'm getting that 5 reps, but I can't get all the way up on the 5th rep, so I just use 2 fingers to help me get up, so to force the progression. But in my app, in my UMS app, I'm only going to record 4 reps, because I only did 4 reps unassisted, so I don't record 5, because that's inaccurate. And that's not how you get better. You need to be honest with how many reps you do in each workout. Okay, so squat hands up. This is version 2. Version 1's a bit easier, but I don't do that anymore. And I've got to really try and work on pulling my arms back into shoulder flexion. This is a real shoulder flexibility exercise for me. It's an end range contraction. This one's for shoulder external rotation. So, your flexibility work and your mobility work will probably look different to mine, because you won't be at the same level as me. You might be more flexible, might be less flexible, and you'll be doing exercises that are specific for your goals. So, you know, for me, I've had a slap tear in both shoulders. Shoulder flexibility is a real challenge for me. So I'm doing a lot of shoulder flexibility work. I'm doing contract relax here. And also internal and external hip rotation is really tough for me. So I'm doing a lot of that. And yeah, it'll be most likely it'll be different for you. You'll have areas in your body that need more work than what I do, and you may not need work in the areas that I need work. So that's why it's really important to, you know, work on the stuff that's going to give you the biggest impact to your capabilities. These end range contractions are so hard. Okay, and now I do internal hip rotation. So I really like doing these end range contractions for internal rotation for the hips. So I'm not actually stretching, I'm doing end range strength here. So I'm going to keep my body as still as I can. I'll just move here. And then so the tough part is to try and not move anything else and just internally rotate the hip as hard as possible. One more. Okay. Oh man. Wrist prep before my handstands. This is another one of those exercises that I couldn't do to save my life when I was first shown it. My goal is to be able to do 15 reps like that on my feet, but can't do that yet. But when I started, I couldn't do any on my feet. It's been several years of practice to get to this point. But you know, that's how our bodies adapt. Some of the things that, you know, we want to do with calisthenics and strength training, they just take so much more conditioning than you think when you start the journey. And you know, you've got that choice where you can either go, well, this is too hard, and give up on your dreams, or you just say, well, I'm just going to do the work. And I decided that I'm just going to do the work. That's why I make these videos. I just want you guys to see that I do the work, so that nobody can ever say, if they're asking me questions about how we do things and how we train, you know, you can very clearly see that I do what I say I do to get the results that I'm getting. Today I'm doing a free handstand workout, so I'm just going to be balancing, but I always start with a face-to-wall handstand. So I'm still at the stage where for a warm-up I use a face-to-wall, and this just helps to really, you know, lock in the position, remind your nervous system of what you're meant to be doing when you handstand. Basically a warm-up. Get you ready for the free handstands to come. And then I just do a bit of passive stretching for my pancake and middle splits during my rest periods, because I take a 2.5 minute break between sets. So it's a good opportunity to just do a passive stretch. And I'm not warmed up for this flexibility. So I'm not pushing myself at all. This is just a gentle stretch. And you can do a few contractions, so I can contract my quads and hip flexors and get some end range contractions going there. That's a really good way to add a bit more flexibility training in. It's just get into your passive range and then just add some contractions for the opposing muscle system. So here we're stretching the hamstrings. We're trying to get more flexible hamstrings. So if I can contract my quadriceps and hip flexors, they're the opposing muscles to the hamstrings, and yeah, it helps to teach my nervous system that this level of flexibility is okay, which basically helps to solidify it, make it the new norm. And I don't ever recommend pushing yourself. Like you can hear in my voice, I'm not straining here. This is not, I'm nowhere near my absolute maximum capability, but that's the point. It's a gentle stretch in between sets. All right, let's see if I can do a handstand today. You never know. Some days you have good days and some days you have bad days. Let's see what today is. Oh, I tried to save it. Okay, come on. All right. That's not bad for a first set. I'm happy with that. Handstands are they're a tough move. A lot harder than I expected them to be when I started on my handstand journey. So much repetition involved in really getting good at any kind of movement. Training, you know, martial arts, or dance, calisthenics, like what I'm doing here. You really just got to grease the groove and just keep, you know, banking reps, banking volume. It's just that repetition, repetition, repetition. That's what delivers the results. So now, a bit of middle splits, and now I can just work on trying to contract my glutes and my quads at end range, just to help me, you know, solidify this middle splits position. The main reason I do these two stretches between my sets of handstands, number one, I want to get more flexible in these two positions. I want more flexibility, so that's one. But number two is that it's quite a relaxing stretch for me. So it's not relaxing because I'm really good at the middle splits. What I mean is, sitting in this position or sitting in the pancake, I'm not straining at all. I don't have to hold myself. Like, I want to get more flexible at the front splits and I want to get more flexible hip flexors. But to sit in those stretches is much more of a strain. Like, you have to hold yourself up. I've got to balance. I've got to, you know, stop myself from falling over. But the middle splits like this or the pancake, it's not like that. I'm just sitting here, you know. So that's my main reasons for doing that, because between handstands, I don't want it, like when you see me do my strength training, I do flexibility movements that are a strain, but not between handstands. Between handstands, I want full recovery. Like now I'm going to go into my next set. I don't want to feel any kind of fatigue that's come from the flexibility work that I just did. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, so I also actually usually forget to do this one, but because I want to get more flexibility in my glutes and my hip external rotation, I like to do this one as well. And this one's also, it's pretty relaxing. I mean, you know, this arm's doing a bit of work, but it's minimal. So it's pretty relaxing overall. And if I can get some more flexibility in for this position, then I'm happy about that too. Oh, it's so nice training today. It's raining here. Last days of summer, only a couple of days away from autumn. It's the best temperature in where I am in Australia. In autumn, it's so nice. Summer's pretty hot and sticky. And I'm not even in northern Australia. God, if you go up to northern Australia, up into Queensland or Northern Territory, it's just brutal. Woo. I know a lot of you guys that watch my channel are in the Northern Hemisphere. You guys must all be getting ready for spring, coming out of winter. Oh. Had a good summer this year. Had some good times down at the beach. Some good time with my son. My son just turned 7, so he's really enjoying the beach now. He can swim a bit and ride his boogie board on his own. So he's having a good time, which is fun to be a part of. Okay, here we go. Round 3. Come on, Rad. Let's do a good one. There was a moment there I was really trying to feel my palm having better contact with the ground. What I'm struggling with at the moment is that too much of my weight is here, so I don't have enough of a platform to hold myself. And there was a moment in that first attempt there where I could really feel my hand connecting with the ground really well, probably better than I have before. So that is real progress, because I haven't been able to feel that yet. And I've been trying to make that happen. So I'm going to really try on this last set to see if I can do that again. I'll do some contractions in my glutes. Someone commented on one of my videos saying to me I had chicken legs. I found that funny. My whole life, everybody's always commented on how muscular my legs are compared to my upper body because of all the rollerblading and kung fu I did. But I was filming with a wide-angle lens, and some dingbat said I had chicken legs. And I thought that was funny. Okay, last round. Let's make it a good one. You really have to switch on for a handstand and really try and mentally prepare yourself for what you're going to do. Visualize the outcome. Oh, that was heaps better. It's quite possible that I might have had a breakthrough today. Even though I was wobbly, I could really feel when I was losing it and pull myself back better than what I normally can. So that's a really big improvement for me. That's a big step forward. That's awesome. This is what happens when you train. You go through days, weeks, sometimes months where it feels like nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden it just comes together. And you never know when those breakthroughs are going to happen. They're just around the corner. So I have to really consolidate this week and see if I can really create something, a step forward that becomes the new norm. So that was really good. That was a good session. All right, everyone. I'll see you in this afternoon's strength and flexibility workout. Thanks for watching.